It's 9:03. It is Sunday. It is the day of our Vision Mastery call. And again, we do this call each and every Sunday at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so you definitely want to make sure that you're plugging in, but you're plugging your people in as well, because that is a part of step 4 of our 4-step system, the Dare to Dream. Okay. So I am just your host for this evening. And for those of you who may or may not know who I am, my name is Miss Nikki Alexandria, and I have been a part of the Unity Energy and Family since 2015 under the direct leadership of the gentleman who will be training us this evening. Now, all of us on this call, we know who this individual is, but when I tell you that this gentleman, okay, is someone that I met 10 years ago, someone who has a high level of respect of not just myself, but so many people in the industry of home-based business, direct sales, multi-level marketing, because he is someone who knows this industry. He knows how to move people. He knows the ins and outs of this business. He knows how to build, and he knows how to build people. And people are the main people. I'm gonna say the main people. People are definitely the main source of this industry. Okay. Now, he is originally from the Bronx, New York, and, very humble beginnings, high school graduate, blue collar worker, former U.S. paratrooper who said, you know what? I want something more. I want something more for myself. I want something more for my family. I want something more for my community. I want something more for my people. So he went on to become, yes, a serial successful entrepreneur, but also a highly sought after coach, mentor, and speaker, literally coaching, training, and mentoring thousands upon thousands of people around the world. And I'm super excited that he is one of the visionaries of Unity. He is my personal sponsor. He is my coach. He is my mentor, and he is my friend. And that is none other than the millionaire mentor himself, Mr. Jason L. Scott the first. Mr. Scott, are you on the line, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely on the line spotlight. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can, yes, both. Go ahead and take it away.
Excellent. Listen, I'm super excited always to have you hosting the calls. You're just as amazing when you do your training calls as well. Whenever you do the Vision Mastery calls, because we know that this Vision Mastery call is about expanding vision. You do an amazing job doing that. So I appreciate you hosting tonight's call as well, young lady. So thank you so much. All right, for being that amazing superstar that you are. Everybody else, what's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Sunday night Vision Mastery call. We do this call each and every Sunday night. We've been doing this religiously for well over a decade. Every once in a while, something going on where we may not have a leader taking the call or doing something, but this call is about personal growth, personal development, and you yourself plugging in so that you always have that one piece of the puzzle out the way. That piece of the puzzle that I'm talking about, we always say that your income is going to be the average of your 5 best friends. That means you're hanging around 5 people who may be broke. You're bound to be the sixth one. 5 people who are successful, you're bound to be the sixth one. 5 people who are plugged in for growth and personal development, you're bound to be the sixth one. So all the things as we do, we allow ourselves to be a part of this environment right here, because this environment is conducive for long-term growth. And when it comes to vision mastery, everything that we talk about is not just for one particular business, one particular situation. It's about learning, personal development, personal growth, so that you can always find a way that you can tap into something greater than yourself when the time allows, or when it's actually called for or needed. So for all of you who logged into our Sunday night vision mastery call, I want to say congratulations to you. I want to say welcome to you. And I want to make sure that you and yourself and your organization and your team always stay plugged in. What's going on, Sonia? With the anticipation that you too will be a trainer on this call. Sonia, you back in town, young lady? I saw you've been traveling around all over the world out there having a great time for the summer. All right, great, good stuff. And that's where we are, man. A lot of people need that. We need that break. We need that getaway. Um, we go year round looking for the summer, because summer means vacation for a lot of people, and it's a great time for people to come together. All right, during this time. All right, let me see 1 second. Do me a favor, if anybody has, because I didn't get a chance to text everybody. Let me see. Let me see. Sunshine, touch Peggy. She may or may not be available. I don't know, but just still text her to give them a call, just as a reminder. And just so some of you guys got to text me, some of you guys didn't. Sometimes I don't have a chance to get to everybody. I look to see who's going to log on first, and then sometimes I'll log a few other people in to the call. But this is what I want to talk about, right? Because I'm always one thing about leadership, and when you're growing an organization, whether it's an organization in business, whether it's an organization in network marketing, direct sales, or just a leadership position, period, you want to have a community that you're connected to, a community that you're always bringing value to the people, that you're giving value, and you're growing your organization, you're growing people. I thank you so much, Sunshine. And when you're growing people, the value that you're bringing to people, the value that you're bringing, it makes you more valuable in the world. It makes them more valuable. So our job is to always be in this leadership space where we're looking to bring and give value. So I was actually one of the people I follow several leaders, right, that I study with, that I work with. One of the AIs that I connect with, her name is Gigi, and Gigi's connected to one of the organizations that I'm connected to, this mentorship and mastermind group. And with that mastermind group is connected to Tony Robbins and Dean Gracioso and Graciosi and several other leaders who come on and have a chance to talk and train. And same thing like we're doing right here. We pop on our call a couple of times a week and things like that. Is normally hundreds of thousands of other people. A few of them look like me. Most of them don't look like me or most of us that's on this call right now. But they're always plugged in for leadership and leadership growth and development. And they go on to take the what they learn and to go on to empower other people. And one thing I know is the people who look like me, we definitely need empowerment all the time. And I work with everybody, brokers, jail, Yale, white, black, Asian, everybody. I've been able to coach and mentor tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people over the years, through audios, books, tapes, in live, in person. Somebody else recommended somebody come to an event that I'm speaking at, being a speaker at a stadium. I remember walking the stage and being a speaker at the stadium where it was a time when we were doing coliseums, right? When people go to network marketing events, and it was like packed in coliseums. I got a picture that came across my timeline from 2000, I think like 11 or 12 or something like that, and we're in the coliseum and stuff, man. And it's packed with, I'm like a stadium, right? And it's like everybody's in this. It's like this is the organization of people from Halton Bugs, who was like he was like one of the main leaders in the company, became the VP. So everybody was connected to him. And I'm thinking about all that stuff because that's hundreds of thousands of people over the years that I had a chance to, as one of the top leaders, even in that company, able to walk the stage and be able to speak and train and coach and things like that and stuff, man. So I've been able to be in this space for a lot of years. But one thing that I do know, and what made me talk about that, because one of the books that I'm always, sometimes I gradually pull books off. I was reading books in this section over here this one talks about seven-figure mindset and the attributes and the law of recognition. And I've got certain books that I have in certain places. Sometimes they inspire me a certain way. And this book right here is the UnderDog Advantage. You don't have to get the book, nothing, but it just speaks to you or any individual who may feel that they themselves are the underdog. So that's why when it comes to vision mastery, learning to stretch your imagination past your situation, learning to get out of your head, right? To where you've been feeling like you're less than, you're not good enough, feel like like right here it says, do you feel like you're stuck in your life? Right. This is just in the prelude in the very beginning of the book. Things look good on the outside, but on the inside, you feel like a prisoner trapped in mediocrity. Or maybe you feel like you missed your chance, or you can't find your starting point. And no matter what you do, nothing moves you forward. You're the underdog, dismissed, counted out, lacking the right resources, and unsupported. This book is going to take all of those feelings and emotions, flip them on their head, and show you something mind-blowing. What if what you thought was holding you back was actually a superpower, if only you saw it that way? And then, of course, I'm not going to cover these things, but inside it, like the contents, it was talking about the underdog advantage. One, underdogs have nothing to lose. Write that down for yourself, right? Because I want you to just do some, when I give this, do your own, you don't even have to read the book to look at what is when it comes to underdog, what does that mean to you? And think of it as several ways. One, how the table of contents that I read to you, how it may impact you, but I want you to do a deeper level, a deeper dive into it for you to work with other people. You may be putting together your own group, your own organization, people that they too feel like they're the underdog. So when you're working with leaders, learning to help people overcome their self-imposed limitations are important. So the underdogs have nothing to lose. That's one of the table of contents. You can just Google or to go find your own AI and see what it talks about when people are at a space to where they feel like they have nothing to lose. Give me 3 steps, 3 keys, just whatever. Just do even watching YouTube videos because it helps you to help other people, right? 2, it has here underdogs can use the power of you can't. All right. 3, underdogs act fast and improve quickly. 4, underdogs are relentlessly resourceful. 5, underdogs self-educate. 6, underdogs don't have to care what other people think. 7, underdogs turn desperation into persuasion. Now, I say that to you because as I'm thinking about those things, as I'm actually reading those things myself, I want you to think about what that means to you. And I can go deeper into training on all these different things, but I'm not going to do that today because even just reading it without me even talking about the book itself, I can just go off of what it means to me, right? But I want to talk about ways of how you can leverage that, how you can leverage being an underdog, all right, from my perspective. And then, of course, take what I gave to you to do some additional training, some additional insights, resources, be resourceful in this space, right? Find yourself in a way to where you can take what I give to you now, and you can go on and build from that to where you can find yourself getting better at being the underdog, recognizing where you may feel that you're behind. And many times we like to always act like, Nikki, you guys know how we like to be, Sunshine. We like to act like we tell people, I believe in nothing. And nobody's better. We say all this other stuff. And then nobody better than me. I believe we try to hype ourselves up all the time, right? I know, no, listen, trust me, trust when I tell you, trust. We try to do all this big conversation and talking and then do nothing. But we don't do nothing because even though we like to fake ourselves out, and there's nothing wrong with that at times, as long as you're going to fake yourself out and then do the work. But faking yourself out, and then after you get up in front of all your people, going right back to doing nothing, crying about the situation, stepping up, not even choosing. Like right now, the simplest thing that a person can do for that is even getting on this call right now. Just being on a call that's with people that's in the right mind space the way you're looking to connect with. Always giving and bringing value to that you can, because that you can actually learn, you can improve upon it, and you can actually teach it yourself. Give you additional things and ways of how you can look at yourself and look at your individuals that you're working with to make them better, that you can bring value to people. So we're talking about ways of how you can actually focus in and how, as the underdog, how you can make some great things happen for yourself and your people. Write this down. 1, I want you to learn to harness passion and purpose. And I want you to think about having a deep passion and a clear purpose that's going to drive your actions and drive your decisions, drive your motivations. I want to become such a powerful force inside of you that whenever you're when you're passionate about something, it's going to make you get up past the pain, past the self-doubt, past that underdog feeling. A lot of times, some people you may even have an imposter syndrome that you have. If you don't know what that word means, just Google it yourself. I can go deep into that, but I want you to be resourceful for yourself. I want you to, as new words and new ideas come up, I want you to be resourceful to see what it means to you. Most of the things that come up to me, I hear a word I don't understand. I like to go deeper to understand what it means. Because I know that as a thought leader, which we all are, right? I know I'm a thought leader. And as a thought leader, our job is to help raise questions inside of ourselves, inside of other people that can help them have better answers. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you learn to ask. When you learn to ask these quality questions and you yourself ask them of yourself, and you know who you are, who you want to be, I want you to harness a passion and find what purpose means for you. Even research that. What does purpose mean? What does purpose mean? Whether it's religiously, biblically, what does purpose mean? Earthly, what does purpose mean? For the individual, what does how do you find my purpose? How can I define purpose? How can I help other people, achieve and find their purpose? And one thing I've believed over the years myself is that sometimes some things a person will lock in once they kind of find themselves. They're locked in on what's purposeful for them. Sometimes purpose may be for a moment, or a purpose can be a lifetime. If you're gonna make it a decision that it's gonna be a lifelong thing. That your purpose is going to be to empower people. Your purpose is going to, empower and help other people to find the better part of themselves, and the to not look back and always keep moving forward. Whatever to do something more than just saying this is about my kids, this is about my family. It has to be something more, because we all got kids, we all have family, we all have grandkids, we all have mothers and fathers and sisters, we all have bills, we have all. So we can't just say all these are the reasons why we do a thing, and then yet we don't have enough passion to even get on a call, or passion to get on a call on time, or passion and a purpose so driven that you have to get on ahead because you're looking to add value. All these things has to be something more than just saying I'm here. Like it, like sometimes when people will say, "Well, how long do I have to? How long I have to get on these calls?" Until you want to. Write that down. So when you work with some people, somebody said, "Well, how long I have to?" Till you want to. Because when you want to, you don't have to anymore. It should not be something where it's driving you, where it's like a bothersome. Man, I got to get on this other call. Oh, he's sending me. Let me get on, because no. I was watching back in the days. I used to watch, of course, like the Karate Kid and things like that. And then, of course, in recent years, there was Cobra Kai, which is a television series. And I'm a person where I love watching shows and things like that. But when I get busy and get into stuff, sometimes I don't have the time to get to get back into stuff. I don't have the time to watch stuff. All right. I don't have time to go back and watch a series that's been going on. But I remember Cobra Kai was something from that was happening on YouTube first. And it was just an extension of Karate Kid and things like that, right? The old actors, and I found it that as I started watching things like that, I always try to find stories, because they're all designed to do something. Whether you're going to be entertained, but for me, a lot of time, my entertainment, I'll find a story or something that I can relate to. Maybe whether it's how they put the song in a certain word way, and something becomes nostalgic. And as I'm looking at the stuff, a lot of them, they're doing karate, right? I'm thinking about when I was doing karate. I was doing Shotokan karate, and they're going through these things called katas. Katas are forms and stuff, right? Where you go through the same thing, the same steps. Basically, you follow the steps over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying, whether they're simple blocks, punch, no matter whatever it is, the katas are designed for you go through these katas, and they're called forms, and you do it over and over and over, and it's designed to be in preparation. Some of you guys who've watched Karate Kid, his form was he had him wax on, wax off, and it was designed that when you waxing on and you waxing off, whether it's designed for like to be a block, or blocking this way, or blocking down, right? So when you're doing it at first, like, man, they got me doing all these chores, but the chores was designed so that when real life situations showed up, you can defend. So when I'm watching these shows and I'm thinking, it was taking me back. I'm like, man. So I started watching some YouTube videos on katas and show the conquer. I'm like, man, and I started seeing kata. I'm like, man, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. I forgot about these things, because as you get older, you're not into this stuff as the same way you used to be. You may not be in shape the way you may be, aches and pains, different things that's happening. So you don't be in it. But as I'm watching these shows, I'm like, man, it was making me feel something. It was drumming up something on the inside to be like, you know what, let me keep getting up. Let me get up. Because every time somebody went through something, they got knocked down, you had to get back up. Something about the fighting, and you have to have enough passion about the fighting you, enough purpose inside of you about the fighting you, that when you get knocked down, you must get back up. But also, number two, like I said, first one is harness the passion and purpose. Two is stay agile and adaptable. And that was another principle just based off of martial arts and karate. In Kung Fu, I remember I took like Shotokan karate, Kempo karate back in the days. I have two different senseis at different times. When I was a kid, getting all these belts, you get the belts when you go through all these katas and these forms that you have to do. And then I got to I took Wing Chun Kung Fu because I want to understand what Kung Fu was like, which is a different methodology and philosophy than karate. Karate is more from like Japan and things like that. Kung Fu is from like China, what I'm saying, all these Chinese. So it's a difference. And some people don't know that, but it's the difference in both of them. But no matter what it is, it's about learning to stay agile. Kung Fu is more about being agile and adaptable. Now, karate, you learn these forms. When you learn the forms, when you in the moment, you got to piece together all the different forms and katas that you're going through. So when it's time, you waxing on, waxing off, and you watching the person in front of you, and you stopping, you getting yourself out of the situation. But Kung Fu, Wing Chun was about being adaptable. Kung Fu is about being agile and adaptable. And right now, that's what we have to be as well. We have to be agile and adaptable. We have to be open to change and ready to pivot when necessary. That's the most important thing about being agile and adaptable is that have to be ready to change and pivot. And as I give you guys scenarios and I'm saying, oh, this is the summer, this is going on, this is the challenge over here, this is SOS. We're giving you new things that you should be able to adapt to and pivot. But the thing is, when we pivot, we got to pivot together. Matter of fact, I remember one of the techniques is like when you back to back with somebody else and you be like, you have to train like a circle or something. And as you're going around the circle, you're back to back with that person. And you can't come out the circle. People are trying to attack, but you gotta learn to be in balance with each other. Learn to so that it keeps the balance going on. But you have to be willing to adapt and pivot as you're moving around inside, but staying inside the same circle. We're staying inside of where we are as entrepreneurs, but we have to learn to adapt. We have to be ready for change. We have to be flexible so that whenever an opportunity comes, you can seize the opportunity. And a lot of times, opportunities and certain things that we got to seize are unexpected. But you can learn to navigate through the challenges effectively whenever you learn to be agile and you learn to be adaptable. Number three is utilize authentic storytelling. Utilize authentic storytelling. I want you to learn how to share your unique story and journey authentically. A lot of times you can create a strong emotional connection with other people and inspire them to support you in your mission. This is what I want you guys to get good at because this next phase, as we get through July going into August, all the stories, all the wax on and the wax off, and it's showing up amidst only a few people at a time. When most people are not showing up, they're not showing up for their purpose. They're not keeping their word. They're making it about a bunch of. Listen, I get it. This summertime, there's a bunch of stuff coming up. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes it just is what it is. You have to be out and about doing. I get it. I understand. I understand all these things. But for me, a lot of the stuff is business. It's because it's business the same way you would normally, if you had the part-time job, you would show up to the job. You going to school, you show up to school. Own a company in the business and you open on Sundays, you be open. If you had McDonald's and you open up for breakfast always, and you still be open right now. It's 9:30, you still be open. But then when it comes to you actually having a chance to earn more than the person who works at McDonald's, I ain't got no time for it. I ain't got no time. Why you got to be on all these calls? It's one call, 30 minutes, one call, 45 minutes, one call an hour, 1 hour of power. You got uh, all these hours throughout the week, at least 24 in one day. And we may meet a couple of times a week and that you feel overwhelmed with getting on a call for growth, personal development, learning to be able to be more in the moment so you can learn how to be adaptable and flexible and learn skill sets that your people who most of us we come from people that don't have these conversations. I remember when I got back into network marketing, I got out of it years ago and I got back into it. And a friend of mine had asked me, he was like, "Yo, you ever heard of this company before?" And I said, "No." I said, "But if that's network marketing," I said, "You know what? I want to get back into it because I had become a leader. I had a outsourcing service and I was employing people to work for me in outsourcing service. And I'm like the overall leader. I'm like the boss. And I had leaders and people that I was reporting to, but I didn't have to talk to nobody on a regular. Just reported numbers and made sure my numbers are growing. And now I became like the boss. So people working for me as I'm working and connecting with all these different companies. And I was like, I didn't want to be the biggest person. I didn't want to be the only person. I didn't want to be a person that I wasn't connected to personal growth and personal development. I didn't want to be that in that space. I wanted to be able to become more. Everything's good? You good? Okay. All right. All right. I, okay. I'll be up in a second when I finish. It's right there on the thing. It's on the counter right there, under that thing right there. All right. I'm sorry, guys. All right. It's on the counter right there, under that bowl. All right. So everything that is required of us is knowing that we're in a great space for growth and development and getting ready. So whenever we're having this conversation, I'd rather be in this place where I can have these types of conversations with like-minded people. I don't always want to be the only person. I didn't. That's why I said. So I got back in network marketing because I love the personal development. That's what I told him. I said, "Yeah, I love the personal development, personal growth. I want to be back in because of that." So I'm getting you ready for what's coming next. Waxing on, waxing off, getting adaptable. Because when you start to get ready and you start to be in a better space, and you know that you know that you know, the universe gives you the ability to exercise what you know. It just does and stuff, man. And when you start to utilize authentic storytelling, you're able to be real with people, like me being real with you about my stories, my growth, my martial arts, other stuff that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I remember even I remember what I was thinking. I was always like I was a martial artist where I would be pretty good. I would be pretty good into the sense where I had a good sidekick, right? Sidekick, you when you hit people with the fist, not the bottom of your foot, like the knife edge of your foot, and you look at the side, boom. And I would catch people so quick, boom, in the side, and wherever I kick people at, and I'm shutting people down. And I became pretty good with that because I wasn't I wasn't overall good with everything with all hand movements because my left side is my weaker arm, my weaker side. So I learned to do everything on my right side, even though I should be getting better with both sides. But I learned to how to block and put and keep people away from me. But when I started fighting, I started getting real cocky in this space because I knew that inside the dojo, I'm like whipping on people who are in it longer than me and things like that. And I'm like, man, I'm good at this, right? So I remember, I was pretty good. I'm going to tournaments. I'm winning tournaments. I'm getting trophy. I think the first one I went to, I got second place or something like that. First one was second place trophy out of fighting all these fighters. I'm fighting white, black, I'm fighting everybody. The second one, I got the big trophy. All right. But as I got good in my dojo, I was pretty good. And I was fighting. I remember when I went to another class. It was a few years later. I was in high school now because I was doing something in junior high school in first part of high school. And I remember being in high school and this guy wanted to fight me. And this guy wanted to fight me after class. All right. And he wanted to fight me after class. And this other guy, he knew martial arts too. We used to talk about martial arts all the time. He was taking like Tai Chi or something. But Tai Chi wasn't the Tai Chi that we were seeing, like we see people moving slow. It was just different how they was doing it. So I was like, and I never really knew what it was. I'm like, yeah, I want to go see because Tai Chi is like Kung Fu. So I'm like, yeah, I want to go. I want to see what it is. I want to go to your class. So the guy went to fight me. So after the class, he ended up, he didn't get I can't remember. We didn't really fight. Didn't really go through the process. But I remember the dude was like, you want me to fight for you? And I was kind of scared, even though I knew, I'm like, yeah, yeah, fight for me. He was like, nah, I ain't gonna fight for you, fight for yourself. But I was hoping he did, right? Because I really ain't want that smoke. But you start, people start telling you, I'll meet you at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. You like this? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whatever, whatever. Tearing your fingernails off, right? Because I really don't want that smoke. Even though I act like I did. But by the time I was finished, I remember being out in the hall, and like I said, even though I had been going through this stuff, I just wasn't. You can. It's like I said, you can learn the thing, but if you don't apply it, it just doesn't do something for you, right? And I learned what I was learning, didn't apply it. Now I'm going to these tournaments and doing stuff, but still with people in the streets, I was still scared. After school, this guy, we didn't even really fight. I think he swung. I didn't even try to block it. I just let the guy damn near hit me. And after that, I was lucky that everybody just broke it up. But I still got hit, right? And I was like, the guy was like, yo, I'm gonna take you to my class and let you learn my stuff. So I went to his school. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna kick their behinds. I'm gonna show them. You know what I'm saying? But I was just, I should have just, instead of just, I should have just backed off and stopped running my damn mouth like I was about that smoke. That's what I should have did, Sharon. I was in New York. I was in the Bronx. All right. And what happened was when I went to other guys' class, again, I'm back in another class and I'm used to, I know what I know. I'm going to show the kind of other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go in here and so they want to see, like sometimes you go to a new school, they want to see how good you are so they can see what they're going to start you with. So I go to this other class. They took me up with this guy. Now, based on where my belt was, they put me up with somebody at my level. I quickly whip him out. Then they was like, okay, put me with somebody else. So they put me another guy, another level. He come in, I'm doing the same thing. I whip him out. Then they put me with these other guys, like small, little small Puerto Rican guy. I don't know if it's Puerto Rican, Latino guy. My small Latino guy with a bushy afro. That joke came up. He was like, they was like, all right, so I'm getting my stance together, Nikki. I'm like, yeah. And he was like a black belt. So I'm like, oh, and I wasn't a black belt in my other company, my other stuff. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'm getting my stuff together. All of a sudden, so they're like this, fight. I don't know what happened. I just remember waking up like, what happened? And they say, when I came to, the first time I ever I got knocked out, like for real, for real. I was like, what happened? I don't remember seeing nothing. To this day, it's like, I don't remember. I still don't remember. All I do is remember when I came to, Sonia. You know what I'm saying? And first, like, I see the movies, like, hey, hey, yeah, yeah, yes, 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 yeah. I was hearing like an echo, right? I'm like, coming to him, like, what's happening? People standing over me. And I'm like, man, I don't know what I think. I thought that I knew it. Lights out. Exactly right. But I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna learn this new style so I can get better at doing what I'm doing. Now, all those things is this. It took me to where I learned what I learned prior to that in elementary school, like junior high school, junior high, going into parts of high, then high school, learn this other skill set. Now, I still let people bully me because I didn't really like to fight. I was scared. I was scared because I already knew sometimes you get to fighting people jumping you. I was always scared. Now you mess with one of my brothers and sisters, then the fear would leave me, and then I just didn't like bullies and stuff, man. And I would do something to hurt one of my family members. But for me, I let you slap me around, do whatever. So I remember it was between the ninth grade and 10th grade. In ninth grade, they're still bullying me. 10th grade, when I went back to I was like, yeah, it was 10th grade, right? Because no, what the yeah, okay, let me say like this. It was ninth grade twice because I got left back one year, all right? Because one year I was such a knucklehead, wasn't paying attention, got left back. So I had to go back to school again. So between ninth grade to ninth grade, when I was coming back, I remember coming back to the school. And I remember, I think I might have told you guys a story one time before that when I was leaving this guy, it was a bunch of guys, I'm leaving class and guys slapped me back on my neck. I'm like, it was a bunch of guys, they all laughing and stuff and they bullying me and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna get you. And I'm walking up, tears coming out my eyes. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get these guys one day, one day. Right. So the summertime come after that ninth grade. And over the summertime, I used to buy things on wholesale and I sell it on retail on the streets of New York. And while I'm selling things in the streets of New York, you buy things, you put your blanket down, put all your stuff out. People come by, they're like, give me get that, give me get two of those, and you just put them in the bag and you start selling things. And as soon as I'm setting my stuff out, and this real tall Puerto Rican guy, who was another Puerto Rican guy, they walked by and they came by and they just kicked my stuff. With the tall guy, kicked my stuff. And when he kicked it, I'm like, I'm like really humble, like not trying to. I'm like, yo, why you? He's like, what'd you say? He come back and he was like, what you say? And as soon as he came back, without thinking, this is them, Sonia. I haven't waxing on and waxing off for so long. I have been doing all this stuff for so long, incorporating this new style of martial arts that I had learned with just going, because I'm going through this stuff, showing up all the time, doing things that I knew I want. I knew they said you learn this stuff and I'm doing all the katas and everything. And when this guy walked to me, as soon as he came to me, he was like, what you saying? He pulled his hand back like he about to swing at me. And without thinking, I was like, and listen, and I like out my mouth. I'm like, "Blah!" Oh no, now in martial arts, you're supposed to be like Kia and stuff like. But I'm like, oh. I moved so fast, I knocked this guy out. Now the reason why I said is this: the guy's real tall, right? As soon as I hit him, I knocked him out. Everybody that was around was like, "Oh, yo, Shorty knocked him out. Oh my God!" And I looked at his friend. His friend was like, "Yo, yo, no, no, I'm good, I'm good." And he picked his friend up and they left. So now the reason why I tell you the story, and because after that, as soon as while I'm watching, I remember it was like moving in slow motion. I'm looking at all the people clapping. It's like I'm like a TV show. People clapping. Oh my God, yo, you knocked them out. Whatever. I'm like, people, they coming up. I'm trying to grab my stuff, and now I know I got to leave because I'm like, let me get out of here in case this guy come back or whatever and stuff, right? But his friend picking him up, they both leave. I'm grabbing my stuff. I get from the area. But while they was going through this process, I remember, Sonia, it's like as I'm watching everybody, my confidence grew. My head got real big. Everything about my confidence, that meant everything that I knew that I had been preparing for, that been studying for, when it showed up, I had to be adaptable. I had to show up in the moment. I've been studying all this stuff for so long that when it showed up, I applied it. And as soon as I applied it, I was able to have such as big results that everybody who saw it, it made my confidence go so far up that when I got back to ninth grade the next time, now it used to be a time we used to wear like people used to wear big belt buckles with their names on it. We used to wear like the big gold chains with your name on it and stuff. Man, I didn't bought the big chain. I didn't bought now I'm all cocky now because I'm like I didn't went from being like this little no, no. I'm like Michael Jackson. What? Now I'm like, now I'm like, be there. Now, yo, I'm on a whole nother level now. Now I'm like feeling like, yo, I'm undefeated. So when I see the guy, I go back to school, the guy like this, yeah, I'm gonna take that chain. I'm like, there. Yeah, go ahead and try that. Yeah, all right. Yeah, go ahead and try that. So I remember I said it with such a level of confidence. He looked at me up and down. I'm like, yeah, come on. He's like, nah, you get ahead, get ahead. But I was by myself. Nobody was around. But he slapped me, the same guy slapped my head back of my neck. I guess he was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a chain, but nobody was around. So I'm like, yeah, come on and try that. Cause I already knew what I did to the guy over the summer. Then after that one guy, now I'm boxing everybody on the block. So I knew that it wasn't a fluke. I knew for a fact that I was the dude. I knew for a fact that I had what it took. I still wasn't a bully, but I wasn't no longer afraid. Now, why do I tell you all this story? Why do I say this long story? I just said you a little while ago. Use authentic storytelling. Now, now, some of you guys on this call, because I want you to understand that when I'm talking about this and telling my story, I want you to have a strong emotional connection. We laugh, we giggle, we can understand what I'm talking about. But from that point, I want you to understand that you yourself have a story of when you have been preparing all your life for moments such as this. You yourself have something that's been happening and going on in your life. And if not, we've been preparing each other on these calls, on these trainings together as a team, getting ready. So whenever it's time for you to have that big payback, that big comeback, that big weird, your confidence level is going. But that's why I always say it's not until you actually apply what you've been practicing that your confidence is going to grow to another level. You will know that you know because we'll be going through the process. Just like when we said, Tammy, it's your time to do the call. And she did it first. She was nervous. And when she's like, oh my, you know why? Because you've been waxing on and waxing off already for so long that when it was time for you to do the work, you already knew what to do. I didn't have to train you and coach you on what to say and do. Nikki had to train and coach you on it. You've been doing it long enough. You can watch some other stuff, some other reruns and videos just to remind yourself and go through the notes, but you know what to do. You know how to talk about it. Everything we're doing right now is in preparation. But I want you to get good at even having the right conversations with people because I want you to start building some conversations with people. I'm doing the same thing. I'm talking with people having, shoot me a number. Let's have a conversation. Even if I'm not trying to get them into business yet, because I know that when the summertime shifts and I'm having these unique conversations with people and I can relate to people in their situation and what they have going on, it's you learning to tell your story in such a way where it captivates. but you can tie it into a life lesson. Like I just showed you, I told you that story because I can tie it into life lessons. Because just like I've been preparing and doing all this stuff, when the universe or the world showed up, even though I would normally back down. Oh, I ain't ready yet. I don't know. No, no, no. Like many of us on this call probably, no, I ain't ready yet. No, but I knew I was ready. I knew that I knew I was good inside. I was good behind. I always say good in here. She can be great out there. I was getting good in my classes. And then when I was about to rhyme it with something and say something else, Nick, but I'm not gonna do it right now. So that now I was out kicking, and it was say I got good in my classes, and then I was out kicking, but I ain't gonna say that. But I got good in my classes, and then I was in the world kicking. So you yourself, you guys get good here. You get good amongst us. Get good in this organization, in this team. Learning to be a better you. So when it's time for you, even though you may feel like you're the underdog, and give you the underdog advantage right now. All right. In my version of what I want to talk about for underdog. The book has its own stuff. I gave you things that you can get better on yourself. You can actually take any component that I gave you from the contents, study on it, give 3 or 4 notes from those things. You can actually have a training that you can talk to other people because most people feel like they're underdogs. 4, I want you to focus on incremental wins. We talked about that before. And that's a part of you knowing, like I said, like for myself, I got good at the incremental wins, the incremental things that kept showing up in martial arts for me. I was breaking down my goals into to small achievable milestones. I was getting good. Got the white belt, the yellow belt, the brown belt, the white belt, the yellow belt, green belt, brown belt. I was moving, getting all my stuff together, going through all my forms behind the scenes, getting good, breaking everything down, going through winning trophies, celebrating small victories. It can build momentum and it can keep you motivated. That small victory that I had when I have been studying behind the scenes, when it showed up in my life, I was able to, and that's life. That's you understanding that my story correlates to life. Sometimes life is going to show up at your door and he's going to catch you when you're not prepared. And what are you going to do? You're going to sit back, he let it smack you back of your neck, across your face, making you look bad in front of your kids, just hitting you and you just sitting and taking it. Or you're going to learn to block it, move out the way. I remember Mr. Miyagi was telling Daniel's son, he was like, when he's talking about defense, he was like, the best defense is no be there. That means when somebody's swinging, just don't be in that space. Don't be in that spot. But if you stay there, you're going to get hit. I'm teaching you how to adapt, how to pivot. So be there. When things come your way, you can pivot and they pass you right on by and be there. But you got to learn to focus on incremental wins. And it's going to take you deciding that you want to be a participant. Don't wait until life makes you a willing participant. Get good here. Practice and get in this space here. So when get the incremental wins here, learning to have a conversation with somebody, learning to present, learning to get better. Because this stuff I'm talking about is applicable in all different things you do. I know several of you guys, we talked about building your own organizations and being a part of groups and other things. And I know Pam is and other people are. Many of you guys, I'm part of different groups and leadership things that I'm a part of. I can take the same trainings I give to you guys. I train. They think I'm dope at this stuff because I know I am. In real life, I've been doing this stuff that ain't just network, it's life, it's leadership stuff. So when I talk to other people, they be like, man, this stuff is amazing because they can read this. They can read from this, but then I can actually read from that and give them like I'm giving it to you from some other space. And that's why I want you to get good at the same thing. So I want to make sure we learn to focus on incremental wins. So what wins have you been focusing on? Like last week, we know last week was supposed to be our Smart Week. Our Smart Week. That's been a week leading up to it that we was working towards the goal to sell products, to put products in so you can actually rank up, qualify. Now this is the thing. There's other people who did it. The people in Africa, they did the same stuff. They had the Smart Week. They sold products, they was doing stuff, and then when they had the volume, they put all that stuff in, and they was able to requalify direct. They broke the director, but they was the great thing is had people requalifying for directors. So people was making money. People was doing. They got a long-term plan. And I'm working with you guys on the same thing. And number 5, cultivate a culture of innovation. I want you to always have, when you're working with your group and working with the people that you focus with, I want you guys to have I want you to encourage creativity, like I encourage it with you. Like I'm saying to you guys, be creative, get online, find it on your own. That's why I'm saying it, because that's why I'm doing it. Because I can tell you a bunch of stuff, but I want you to go do it yourself. I want you to be innovative, be creative. I want you to experiment with new stuff. Come back and tell us what's working in other spaces. Because as the world shifts and changes, I need leaders who shifting and changing. We all shift together. When I tell you we all back to back, we're fighting against all this stuff together. When you're in the dojo, all your people are teammates, and you guys fight together, and you're fighting against other dojos, and our space it may be debt and bills and other things, and other people and family members telling you that you're not worthy, and you're not good enough, you can't, who you think you are, all this other stuff. But it's only when you start to do it yourself you're going to find groundbreaking solutions. I can't do that part for you. I'm looking to help. I need the help from you guys so that it can help us set us apart from all other competitors, all competition. I want us to get good at who we are here, so we can be dominating out there. Like I told you, in this space, I'm on different calls and different people. People call me all the time, want me to come to. I see them. I may comment on because they friends of mine in a network marketing company. They're at an event. It's front packed from front to back, and I'm like, it ain't the industry. And I'm like, what do you guys? Because the compensation plan ain't strong, the product base ain't strong, but it's the culture. They all love being a part of the culture. And we've had that in the past. We've had that, but then we're still a new organization. And because we're a young organization, it requires every next level of leaders stepping up to be at the front, to be the new innovators, to be the ones who taking the basics that we're giving and then innovating. You guys know how to do AI and know how to do other stuff and learning to all these, bring that to or help the organization get better. You know how to do, get leads, and you know how to put together ways of how to do all this other stuff, get good at it so we can train on it. Get good. Listen, everybody's still new in our organization. But I'm looking for people to help bring value to the organization, to the team. Then, of course, we can bring value to the world together. Nothing's going to stop us. Nothing is impossible when I am possible. And when I am possible, nothing is impossible. So that's been our Sunday night vision mastery call. I pray this call has brought some vision to you, help you to see something different inside yourself. If you saw yourself as the underdog, know that that's a superpower. Learn to use that as a superpower, because people are sleeping on you. They doubting you. They don't think you're worthy. They're watching you to see what you're really posting. Most people don't join you because they already think you're going to quit. They don't want to be a part of you anyway, because they heard the story of how big somebody's going to do something, somebody's going to be here, and then they quit. And they're watching you to see how fast you're going to quit. So they can, so they can prove you wrong. Or prove themselves right. Yeah, I knew they was going to quit. So they can tell everybody, yeah. She called you too? Yeah, I ain't joining that because I already knew she was going to quit. Yeah, she said all this stuff. Yeah. She did all this posting, and I ain't see her post nothing. I ain't see her talk about nothing. I ain't see her she ain't making nothing else. She did all this other stuff. She ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing. They, you know what? They laughing. A lot of them laugh behind, because in their mindset, they figure you already gave up. But we get good in here, behind the scenes. So when we show up out there, we're formidable opponents to anybody. And we're dominating out there. And our job is to get better here, so our vision and our purpose can be shining bright out there. I appreciate you guys showing up for our Sunday night Vision Mastery Call. Do I have any leaders who have any last minute comments, statements, anything you want to share before the call is done tonight?
Mr. Scott,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you so much. Training was amazing this evening, as always. But as you were talking, um, it made me think about, I'm here with my son and my grandson, and I've even sent you like a couple of pictures of, Zion when he's doing his kata, right? And it's so interesting because we learn from everybody, but as we start to get older, it's amazing how much we learn from children,
Mm-hmm.
right? We think we're supposed to be teaching them everything, but really they teach us a lot, right? And so I was watching him because he got to a point where he was kind of getting a little tired of going to karate. Okay, like oh, he didn't want to go, right? But then when he tested for his purple stripe belt, right? He went up a level. And once he got his new belt, it changed, right? He became a little bit more confident. He wanted to go because he wanted to show everybody, and he wanted to show his sensei, and he wanted to show his grandma, and he wanted to show everybody, like, hey, I am the man, right? And I thought about that because I'm like, okay, that's where, that's where a lot of us are right now, okay? We kind of get tired, okay? And I understand it. We kind of get tired of going through the motions, right? But one thing that I know is that when we go through the motions with the proper emotions, our outcome is a little bit different. But just watching him going through the motions of, I don't feel like doing it because it feels redundant. Oh, I got to go again. I got to go again. I got to go again. But once he kept going, not realizing that he was getting stronger. Every time he showed up, he was getting stronger. Every single time that he did a move that he didn't want to do, he was getting stronger. And when the moment came for him to show his stuff, oh, he showed his stuff. I almost jumped on the floor myself because I was so excited. Okay, my sister, I mean, my daughter-in-law had to like hold my leg because I'm like, But anyway, just learning that and just understanding that even though it may seem as though we're just going through, just doing this stuff, like just to be doing it, or we just, we don't feel like any progress is being made. But truthfully, every post, every time we talk to somebody, every pound that we lose, every inch that we lose, everything that's happening is just building us up to be stronger. And confidence comes from accomplishments. And when that moment shows up for you to show your stuff, you're gonna be ready, right? That's just what it is. So I just wanted to share that because it just made me think about everything that I'm witnessing and I'm learning from just being around a child, right? So I'll turn the call back over to you, sir.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate that and stuff, man. Well, the reason why is it makes the most sense because when we as children we're back to the basics. Children do basic stuff. So when you see them do stuff, it reminds you, damn, this is basic stuff. It's basic, but it reminds you to go back to the things, go back to that child, because even that childlike wonderment is where imagination is the strongest. So when we were watching our kids, if we had a conversation about him, but his imagination be with stuff in the morning times and things he'll say and things like that. So that's why you sent me that picture of him in that class. I just know what it does to the psyche. I know what it does to the person. I also know you was excited yourself. You was like, oh, look what he doing. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been talking about it so long prior to that and stuff, man. But great job on that right there. Um, for just sharing the information and stuff, man, because it tied it right into the stories that I was talking about today as well. Anybody else have any last minute comments, statements, anything you want to share before we're done tonight? Okay, good stuff. All right. Guys, listen, I appreciate you guys logging into our Sunday night vision mastery call. You guys are amazing as always. Take the classes, take the lessons, take the studies, take the notes, and go in and go deeper yourself. Be innovative yourself. Learn, just research things or get your own set of notes. So when it's time for you to have a conversation on this call, or to groups of people that you're coaching and mentoring. Because there will be that time. If you anticipate having a group that you're going to be coaching and working with, you got to get ready. I got tons of notes. I can train on notes that I got. I can train on books that I've read, train on things that's in my head because I've been doing it for so long. And now it's your time to get out here and be the best version of yourself. I love each and every one of you guys, and I see you guys not just at the top. I see each and every one of you guys over the top. You guys have an amazing new you. Good night, everybody. See you guys soon.
Thank you, sir.
Good
Thank
night,
you, Mr.
everybody.
Thank you. Good
Smith.
night.
Amen.